Happy Wednesday, guys, and either welcome to or welcome back to the Marshall Experience, or as I should say now, SLM Fantasy. So we're going to be doing a little bit of rebranding here, guys. New image, new name, same experience, right? Same information, same everything. Just a little bit of a new, fresh look. So here's a before we get into anything, here's a new message from our partnership over at Sports Lounge Media. Check this out.
Yeah, it's that heat, no chill, all flame. Sports Lounge Live, we never play no games. Talking stats, trash, take static night. Step in the ring, bring facts to take flight. Sounds up, lights flash, it's about to explode. Every mic drop, heavy, every angle we load. From the court to the field, we call it how it feel. No script, just skill, this debate getting real. Sports Lounge Media. When fire meets the mic, yeah, it's that heat, no chill, all flame. Sports Lounge Live, we never play no games. Talking stats, trash, take static night. Step in the ring, bring facts to take flight. Sounds up, lights flash, it's about to explode. Every mic drop, heavy, every angle we load. From the court to the field, we call it how it feel. No script, just skill, this debate getting real. Sports Lounge Media. When fire meets the mic, say what you mean, cause we don't do polite. Welcome to the lounge.
Welcome to the lounge, guys. If you guys have not went and checked out Sports Lounge Media or either the Marshall Experience, which is going to be again renamed to SLM Fantasy, as we fully join the Sports Lounge Media team, and we are fully invested and are looking for just a fresher image and fresher look. So stay tuned for that. Big announcements for that coming. But tonight, right, Wednesday, it's the weekly show. Tonight's going to be a little bit of a change. Okay, we are starting a new segment tonight, and it is called Studs and Duds. Okay, so what this is going to cover is a weekly basis over the NFL season. Okay, we're going to basically find the studs and find the duds, find the consistency, find the people that were flukes. We're going to break down the previous week's games. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of a recap of what happened, who performed what, and again, highlight studs and duds, right? Then we're going to go into, since our episode is on Wednesday, we're going to cover then the next week as well, and kind of like preview, right? Preview kind of what is going to happen in the fantasy world, who we would start versus matchups, who's good to sit, who's good to start. So very exciting. We're going to name it Studs and Duds. And again, this is going to be the weekly segment as we get into preseason, right? And so we're going to start that off just so that way everybody can kind of get a feel for it, right? And basically what this is going to do is you are going to draft these players, which we've already covered everything drafting wise. If you have just joining us or have fallen behind, all available videos are available on YouTube. Okay, so you can check those out at any time. Now, how this is going to go, and we're going to go game by game basis, and I'm going to pull up a game, and we're going to go over the fantasy stats for each position. Again, we're going to highlight, hey, this player, really showed out for the time that was given. And then this is the kind of player that, maybe we should not, think about it. Right now, we also have to understand that this next couple weeks is just preseason, right? So we're not going to be talking about high-end players. Okay, so we're not going to be talking about a lot of people that you guys are drafting right now. This is more or so for the dynasty managers that are looking for taxi squad players. They're looking for the diamonds in the roughs with the rookies and the late round picks, right? So this is what preseason is for. And that's how I've always viewed preseason. Interesting post on our TikTok. Go ahead and go over there and check that out as well. What's the take on preseason? Do we play our starters? Do we not play our starters, right? Is it for the camp battles or is it to get ready for the season? But in my opinion, it is a lot of camp battles. It is a lot of position battles to see who can handle what. Are you going to make the roster type deals instead of warming up the starters. So again, we're going to be talking about a lot of players that you may not know and you may have to get familiar with. We're going to get started right into this. The first game that we'll talk about is the Bengals and Lions. Not a lot of offense to talk about here. 16-14 for the Bengals. The Bengals had three. McPherson went 3 for 3 in his field goals, and one was 50 plus. So watch that out. Watch, he might be a kicker to be sniping this year. His counterpart Jake Bates went 2 for 2, also 1 for 50 plus 50 yards. So some great kicking there. The Bengals had 2 sacks and 2 picks, promising for that defense. And then 2 sacks on the Lions' part. Now back to the offense here. Saw a lot of age on the Bengals side. All right, so Burrow obviously is their starter. Joe Flacco being 42 this year, and Josh Johnson, the journeyman, just turning 40, was their backup. Josh Johnson actually saw most of the snaps here. Went 10 for 19, 84 yards, 2 carries, 6 yards. Not horribly bad. Joe Flacco did throw for a touchdown to tight end. Let's see if I can pronounce his name. Jack Indris, rookie out of Cincinnati. Sorry, not Cincinnati. Doesn't say. But rookie. Not a lot of tight end, talent in Cincinnati. So maybe he's got a shot to earn some PT down the road. But not a name that I'm really focused on right now. Again, in the wide receiver room, just not a lot of, Jamar Chase did play. I think it was, he just caught 1 pass, so it wasn't very, very much. He only had 1 target as well. So 1 catch, 1 target, 16 yards. Ilya Zofis saw some time there, 2 catches, 2 targets on 20 yards. So, some familiar faces there. But again, these are guys that you're not going to know. Highlight for the Detroit, which was the best fantasy player of the day, Jacob Sailors, who'll be playing year 3, was re-signed from the Lions for 2026 after he impressed on special teams. Had 897 kick return yards on 33 returns. He has also had 2 carries for 11 yards and 16 irregular season appearances. Okay, after they traded David Montgomery, could see something there. Now they did sign Pachenko, but that running back 3, especially if you're going to be on special teams, that running back 3 is usually a pretty comfortable spot. He did have 11.3 in fantasy, 8 carries, 55 yards, which was a healthy yards per carry there, at 3 catches for 5 targets for 28 yards. So he's involved in the pass game as well, which is promising. All right, so we'll get past this game. We'll go to the next one. Seems like a little bit more offense to talk about. Pittsburgh and the Green Bay Packers. Pittsburgh won 28-9. And I think, a popular story right now is Drew Lock, right? I think that, it's irrelevant to mention, but I see a lot of Madden creators or streamers using Drew Lock at quarterback. Drew Lock jerseys were sold out in Pittsburgh. And it's just kind of like, everybody just seems to be getting on this train, and Aaron Rodgers just seemed to be left in the dust. But, Drew Lock did perform very well. 10 for 13, 153, 2 touchdowns, and he had a rushing touchdown as well. The only other guy to see time was Mason Rudolph, who is a familiar face in Pittsburgh, but 10 for 11, 93 yards, which is a very typical Mason Rudolph game. Okay, on the other side of that, we had Kyle McCord for the Green Bay Packers, ex-Eagle, right? He went 12 for 16, 102, and carried the ball 3 times for 10 yards. The other guy to see it, Tyrod Taylor, who will probably most likely be Jordan Love's backup this year. 4 for 8, 21 yards, and a carry for 4 yards. So not a lot of action there. In the running back department, really the only one that was really worth talking about here is Lou Nichols. He is in year 3, signed with Pittsburgh this year. He's just on a future contract. Ran for a touchdown, and I mean he scored 10.5. Obviously, a lot of that is the touchdown, but averaged 3.6 yards a carry. Not horrible, not horrible. For you dynasty owners, Eli Hendrick, the rookie that the Pittsburgh Steelers drafted there, 9 for 21. Not the greatest showing. Got a lot of carries, got a lot of action. So I'm looking forward to week 2 to kind of see if that can improve at all. Wide receiver department, I'm going to butcher this name. Rookie, Caden Wetjen. Was drafted this year by Pittsburgh. Had a decent game. Pretty decent game, actually. 2 for 2, 79 yards and a touchdown. Do I think that he really fits in the mold there? I see Ben Skoranek playing before Caden there. So, you got DK, Michael Pittman, Jeremy Bernard, Roman Wilson, and, you still got the tight ends, Fairmuth and Washington. I do see Ben Skoranek playing before this guy here. But a lot of promising preseason snaps here. This is what it's for, man. This is what it's for, to say, hey, we now know that you have promise, and we can now at least maybe keep you on our roster for a year, and say that we lose Roman Wilson, or we want to trade one of Metcalf or Michael Pittman. You know what I mean? We can do that if we can have you step up and produce in that way. So the other rookie is Jeremy Bernard. Looks really good. 4 for 5, 51 yards. Ran some beautiful routes. I watched the game. Actually. The other guy we were just talking about, Ben Skoranek, 2 for 2, 36 yards. On the other side of Green Bay, not a lot to talk about. Their top guy was Isaiah Nayer, 4 for 4 and 34 yards. I apologize. Their rookie last year, Savion Williams, 3 for 5, 18. Could kind of sneak in there just a little bit. With the wide receiver department, right? It's got Watson, Reed, and Matthew Golden. I think that's a lock in the trio. However, I think that number 4 spot, either Bo Melton, who was an ex-quarterback, quarterback, and then Sky Moore, and then that Isaiah Naylor. So Nair. So I mean, Savion really could be that deep threat. They were talking about, I'd add his size, 6'4", 222, and still running a 4.4. I mean, he has that ability to be that. So be interesting to see how he progresses over the next couple weeks and in the season. Tight end department, Robert Tonyan for the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? I mean, realistically, he should be, maybe tight end 3. Right behind Fairmuth and Darnell Washington. So again, not draftable in my opinion for sure, but 4 for 4, 61 yards. And then the Nowalski rookie tight end for the Hoosiers. Hoosiers starting tight end last year. They're thinking about moving him from tight end to fullback. So again, he caught the touchdown. One of the touchdowns from Drew Allard, but again, not something to really pay attention to right there. Green Bay's got a new kicker, Trey Smack. I like that name, Trey Smack. He is a rookie in the 6th round. He was to replace their last year Brandon McManus. I think they kept. I can't ever say his name. Lucas Hasbricks. I don't butcher it, but that's all right. They kept him kind of on the roster during the spring, right, to give him that competition. But it looks like he's winning that competition in training camp. He was the 3-year starter at Florida, where he made 82% of his field goal attempts and set a program record with 10 successful kicks of 50-plus yards. So not only is he accurate, but he's got a leg. Green Bay kickers typically have not been top fantasy performers, even when the team scores often, but Smack should at least generate streaming interest when the Packers are heavily favored or playing indoors. I mean, the guy went 3 for 3, 150 plus. Again, accurate. Sounds like he's got some leg, got some promise there. The Steelers' defense did show up with 5 sacks, and the Green Bay Packers had 3 although they did allow 28 points. Next game we're moving on to was the tie of the week. Patriots and Colts, 13-13. So again, not a lot of offense to talk about here. Okay, for the Colts, we had Anthony Richardson and Riley Leonard. Leonard went 10 for 21, 89 yards, a pick, and two carries for 12 yards. Not a great day for Riley Leonard, but a better day from Anthony Richardson. He did throw a pick from his very first pass, but then I think he kind of rebounded a little bit. Started using his legs, went 6 carries for 53 yards and a touchdown, and then kind of found the passing rhythm from there, 11 for 14, 145, and that, like I said, that one pick on the first pass. On the Patriots side, no Drake May. We did see, however, Tommy DeVito, new Patriot, and by Byron Morton. Excuse me. That one screwed me up. Tommy DeVito here, familiar face in the Giants organization. He is the favorite to back up Drake May right now. Morton is just the rookie 7th round pick that they just drafted. He did make 8 starts for the Giants, 3 for 5 record, 8-3 touchdown to interception ratio. Decent showing. Not anything. He didn't make himself any trouble. 13 for 22, 138 and a touchdown. Didn't throw any turnovers or anything like that. So promise there. Morton did go 7 for 13, 66 yards. Now to the running back room, not really any promise in the Colts. There was a guy for New England that Larson. He's caught the ball 6 times on 8 targets. For the running back room, beyond Trayvon Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson, obviously, not a lot of talent. I mean, you got rookies. You got Reggie Gillum, who is a fullback. Hassan Haskins and Jermichael Hasty, who have all been backups prior. I think that this guy, could carve out a role maybe in the pass and catching department. So maybe that's something we need to pay attention to. And then that Jam Miller, the rookie that we were just talking about, which again, I think that he should outbeat him. But 14 carries on 55 yards. Just not a great showing, not a lot of yardage there. So, again, Larson being able to catch the ball 6 times could carve him out a role in this offense. Now, 2-year player, sophomore year, Kyle Williams, wide receiver for the New England Patriots. He went 2 for 3, 37 and a tutty. He caught the touchdown from DeVito. Other than that, really just, solid showing. Let's see here. Mac Hollins, obviously familiar face, 2 for 4. In the tight end department, nothing in the Indianapolis. I mean, the highest one was 7 with Raylon Sharp. He's a rookie, undrafted free agent. So, again, that's a promise. Good for him. Maybe he fights out a roster spot. But again, nothing that's going to constitute too fantasy-wise. Tight end department, Will Mallory for the Colts. For that, I mean, I would say, you got Tyler Warren, you got Mo Alley Cox. Will Mallory is seeing time in the preseason for a reason. However, strong showing, 6 for 7, 80 yards. And then we had the other tight end rookie, Eli Reardon from Notre Dame go over to New England. 1 for 4, 8 yards. Not a great day. He's going to look back to bounce back week 2. In the kicking department, the Patriots might be on the look for another kicker. This man took 5 kicks and only made 2. I'd at least bring in some competition. This is what preseason is for. I mean, I know the guy's young. This will be his sophomore year, but I mean, we can't do that. We can't be going 2 for 5. That's just unacceptable. Sorry, I get missing 1 if out of 5. That's cool, but you know what I mean. We gotta. There's a standard here, and we gotta meet it. He did end up with 7 points. And again, in some leagues like the SLM league, when we miss kicks, you get those points deducted. So it's just as important to make them as it is, because you can lose points to miss them. Now, on the other side, Schrader had a good day, 2 for 2, 1 from 60 plus. Okay, that was impressive. Quite the leg there from Schrader. Could be something this year to pay attention to if the Colts offense is healthy enough with Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor. Could see a high octane offense there. Now, as for the defenses, the Patriots did lead the way with a 15-pointer, 2 interceptions, and a sack. And then the Colts just had the 2 sacks. So they scored 6 points. Those interceptions are big, guys. So next game, we will recap here. Chargers, Texans. Okay. Quarterbacks for the Chargers are going to be second-year guy DJ Uiagalelei. I believe he was from Florida State, I believe. And Trey Lance. Both saw time and both saw equal stats here. Uiagalelei went 6 for 9, 120 and a touchdown. Solid day. Lance had to throw a little bit more and run a little bit for his stats. But 12 for 20, 164. The pick is what hurt. And then the 3 carries for 27 yards. Okay, on the Texans side, we saw David Mills and the second-year guy, Graham Mertz. Okay, David Mills went 9 for 15, 82 and a touchdown. I think that's the backup to C.J. Stroud. And I think if C.J. Stroud gets hurt or struggles in any slightest, I think David Mills should be the guy to get that shot. Now, Graham Mertz, 4 for 7, 23, 3 carries for 15 yards. Not bad there. Player of the week, in my opinion here, Amar Johnson. Okay, Amar Johnson. Last year was placed on the non-football injury list from Green Bay. He was activated this year by the Chargers. Came into play. 6 carries for 17 yards. Not a lot of action there, right? However, two touchdowns were those. He also had a 2-point conversion along with 2 catches for 68 yards. He was the player of the week with 24.5 fantasy points. And that's what you kind of like to see, man. With the Chargers, let's look at the Chargers running back room real quick. We obviously have Amarion Hampton, newly acquired Keaton Mitchell, and then Kamini Vidal, the second-year guy. We also have Jared Patterson. Alec Ingold is a fullback, so is Scott Matlock. And then you have Amar. So, I could see, it's going to be tough for him to really carve out anything past a 3 or a 4 in that matter. So, I just think for the dynasty owners, if you are willing and have a taxi slot open, Amar Johnson might be a target there. Okay, now on the Houston side, the running backs, nothing really promising there. Noah Winnington had 13 carries, while Joshua Pitzenberger had 9 carries. He's a rookie as well, and Winnington is a rookie as well. So I guess they're just trying to figure out maybe who makes the roster. Again, depth chart wise, we have David Montgomery, Woody Marks, and then after that, it's really open. So that running back 3 spot could be a possibility for one of these rookies. In the wide receiver department, the Chargers, Keandre Lambert Smith, 4 for 6, 58 yards, just a healthy, active game for him. The touchdown did go to Devontae Ross, who only caught 2 passes for 14 yards. Okay, Brendan Thompson, who was the rookie this year, saw 6 targets, only caught 2 passes for 30 yards. Houston's side here. Jared Wayne had the big day at 10.7, 3 for 5, 17, and that touchdown was the one that saved his fantasy day. Other than that, the ball was very spread around. A lot of names, again, that we're not going to know. The name probably most will know is Xavier Hutchinson. Sadly to say, Jaden Higgins did go down today with a torn ACL and will be out for the remainder of the season. Now, this does 2 things. I think this now makes Nico Collins that much more valuable. And I think that makes Tank Dell. I think that makes Jalen Noel. And I think that also makes Xavier Hutchinson possibly sleepers late in rounds if you have not drafted or waiver wire pickups. Tight end department, Gatson did see a little bit, 2 for 3, 21 yards. Definitely draftable in any draft. 15 last year. He is clearly the starter. I do think that David Njoku does eat into a little bit, and we've talked about that. But I think that's very viable with their wide receiver room and how shaky it is. How, they could possibly both be top 10 tight ends. No kicks for the Houston. Well, I guess they didn't log the extra point. Not sure about that. What's wrong with that? Cameron Dicker, 2 for 2. Nothing exciting in the range, and then 1 for 2 in extra points. So not good there. Can't be missing extra points. Chargers, 2 sacks. Texans, an interception and 2 sacks. I obviously think the better pick there would be the Texans. They have definitely the better defense in the starting department, right? I think the Texans would definitely be a defense I'd be willing to invest in this year. All righty. Next game, Arizona and Las Vegas. Okay, this game we did not see Carson Beck. We saw Gardner Minshew, who went 14 for 16, 101 and 2 touchdowns. Jacoby Brissett went 5 for 5, 44 and a touchdown. Now, I think a lot of people were glazing Carson Beck after the Hall of Fame game. Okay, it was a lot of, wow, he looked really good. Or was it we really haven't seen a lot of football in a long time? That's where I'm kind of stuck. Was it, what were we set up with the gold glowing treasure box of the first football game in 6 months? Or was Carson Beck really that good? Well, I can tell you now, Brissett, I think that's his job. I'm not so sure that Gardner Minshew doesn't be the backup, especially after showing with 14 for 16 at 101 and 2 touchdowns. Just saying. Fernando Mendoza, 10 for 16, 97 and a touchdown. Good showing for him. Cousins came in for a little bit, 5 for 6, 50 yards and a touchdown. Strong showing from both quarterbacks. The rushing department was A-okay. Genti did play a little bit. 3 carries, 16 yards. Phenomenal. Yards per carry there. The rookie, Mike Washington, was promising. Dynasty owners need to check into Mike Washington. He should have been drafted, honestly. But 6 carries, 63 yards. Looked quick, looked shifty. He just looked like he belonged in a Las Vegas Raiders uniform. On the other side of things, Jeremiah Love, 11 carries, 58 yards with 3 catches for 14 yards. Again, seems like a very promising fantasy production, but let's not get fooled. Okay, I was talking about this all weekend. If you watch Jeremiah Love's game tape, when he goes to break a tackle, okay, his first thought process, for whatever reason, whether it was a coach, a parent, a teammate, idol, whatever, wherever he learned this from. But his first thought process is to spin every time. Every single time. And I shit you not. Go watch some game tape because it's crazy. Ever since he's gotten to, maybe not, being an ND fan, I've seen a lot of Jeremiah Love, so maybe not every time is obviously probably a stretch. But since joining the NFL, training camp and preseason, go watch all those game tapes, and whoever taught him this should be fired. He is going to hurt himself doing that every play. And lo and behold, after the game was finished this week, we get a notification that he will miss the rest of the preseason and potentially week 1 with an ankle sprain. Imagine that. Well, that's what's going to happen when you spin every time you want to go break a tackle. I'm sorry, hit somebody. You're a running back. Or, you use your legs to juke, move around, shifty, right? It doesn't have to be a spin every time. I know it can be effective, but it leaves your legs in a very vulnerable spot. Okay? Again, we're not sure what that looks like. He will not require surgery on the ankle injury, though, and remains hopeful to be ready to start the season. So a lot of Tyler Algier, a lot of James Conner, and a lot of Corey Kiner next week, in my opinion. Corey Kiner kind of looked good. 10 carries, 59 yards. 2 for 2 and 13. Wide receiver department. Arizona had a strong day. Strong day. Jalen Brooks. Okay, this is a guy that's on my radar, to be honest with you. And let me tell you why. Arizona's wide receiver room is ass, to say it in a kind way. Marvin Harrison has not lived up to, frankly, anything. Michael Wilson is now under this microscope of, was last year a fluke, or can he consistently produce at that level? You have names such as Kendrick Bourne, who is the oldest wide receiver at 31. Rookie Reggie Virgil. Simi Feheko, which is in my opinion, more of a tight end size. He gives with the Chargers there for a while. Devin Duvernay, who's always, in my opinion, been the returner, right? The special teams guy. Okay. Then we have just a bunch of names that really, honestly, I would have to click on and read about to really even know anything about them. Okay, Jalen Brooks went 6 for 6, 52 yards and a touchdown. I mean, he really looked good. Again, he's catching balls from Minshew, Brissett. He's catching these balls from potential starting quarterbacks. Brissett's job is not safe. Let's get that straight. I mean, should he be the starter? Yes. He is the better quarterback. Carson Beck, well, that raises the question, 2 or 3. But if Minshew keeps playing like this, I mean, experience does change the game. All right, let's get into the Las Vegas Raiders here. Beck, 3 for 3, 25 yards and a touchdown. Look good. He should be a high focal point in this offense this year. I do think that Jalen Naylor will be the wide receiver 1 in that offense, followed by Trey Tucker and then Jack Besh. Obviously Brock Bowers is the focal point, but I think that for potentially Cousins, but especially Mendoza, we could see Best be a favorite target for him. Michael Mayer was about the most famous name in the tight end room at 990. 2 catches, 19 yards, and caught one of those touchdowns from Mendoza or Cousins. Now into the kickers. Ryland for Arizona was the only busy one, 2 for 3. Did end up missing one, but 1 from plus 50 plus and 3 extra points. Defensive side, Carolina 2 sacks, Raiders 2 sacks. Not a lot of promise there. I honestly I wouldn't draft either one. If I needed to, and it was a bye week, and I was trying to pick one up, I think that it would definitely have to be a matchup. But I think these are 2 bottom of the league defenses for sure. All right, next game we'll cover is Tennessee and 49ers. Tennessee won 19-13. We did see Cam Ward there for a little bit, 5 for 12, 57 yards. Not a lot of time, though. Will Levis, 3 for 8, 42 yards and 22 yards on the ground. Honestly, I don't think Tennessee was really on the field very much. 4 kicks from their kicker, which accounted for 12 points. 3 were from 50 plus. So let's talk about Joey Sly for a second, because, I mean, realistically, at the age of 30, he could be en route for a career year. Cam Ward a lot last year, got the ball into field goal range, just couldn't finish the job. And from there, well, they didn't really have, or Joey Sly last year just didn't have a great year. Finished 17. Had a couple negative weeks, couple duds, and then it really had a couple strong weeks as well. So, maybe Sly has a bounce back year and can produce, but 19 points is a heck of a week. Other than that, on the Tennessee side, we had Pollard run for the touchdown. He got some playing time on 4 carries for 22 yards. Tajee Speared 4 carries on 35 yards. Chestnut 5 carries on 47 yards. That was impressive. Almost 10 yards a carry. That could be a sneaky 3-headed monster there if done right. Wide receiver room, again, not really. I mean, what Levis and Ward combined for under 100 yards. So, Wandell caught 2. Ridley caught 1. Dyke caught 1. I mean, it's just, you know what I mean? It's very a miss. So even Gunnar Helm saw some time there. Again, a lot of people ask me about Gunnar Helm. Is he draftable being the starting tight end for Tennessee? I'm not so sure. Daniel Bellinger has proved to be serviceable. However, it depends on how much Ward uses him. I think that he'll use his running backs more than his tight ends. So that's where it scares me. Tight ends, defense, 2 sacks for 6 points. Now to the 49ers. Okay, we did see Adrian Martinez, year 3 for him, 16 for 30, 159, 2 carries on 18 yards. Then we see sophomore year Curtis Rourke, 12 for 14, 101. And 3 carries for 14 yards. All right. Now, a little weird stat here. Patrick Taylor. Okay. The second season last year was wiped out when he fractured his shoulder during the preseason, so he's hoping for a little better one now. However, 5 carries for -5 yards and a touchdown. 2 catches for 13 yards, made it 8.8. I'm just saying we turn those negative yards into positives, and we're having a completely different conversation. Newly acquired Khalil Herbert in San Francisco. My apologies. He was released by the 49ers on Monday. So apparently his 6 for 18, 2 for 35 was just not cutting it. So we just won't talk about that. Rookie, Deshaun Stribling. A lot of buzz around him. Mike Evans being hurt, Brandon Ayuk, no go, no information. Ricky Pearsall out for the year, newly acquired Debo Samuel. A lot of moving pieces here, folks. A lot of moving pieces. Stribling very well could fit that. 7 for 8, 63 yards. The other highlight was Jordan Watkins, sophomore year, 4th round pick out of 2025, 6 for 10 on 59 yards. Nothing in the tight end department. Pinheiro went 2 for 3, 1 at 50 plus. And then the 49ers had, 3 sacks. Next game is going to be the Broncos and Falcons. Broncos had Jared Stidham out there and Sam Eilinger. Okay, Stidham went 9 for 15, 131 and a touchdown. And Sam went 10 for 14, 67, 6 carries for 21 yards. All right, in the running back department, Adam Prentice, he's a fullback, ran for the touchdown. I think that's real irrelevant. Jaleel McLaughlin looks like he might be involved in the passing game. Had a receiving touchdown. JK can't stay healthy, right? What is RJ Harvey? What is RJ Harvey? Was he a reach? Are they not using him correctly? You got the new rookie Jonah Coleman. Prentice is a fullback. You got Tyler Batty, and then you got McLaughlin. So maybe not, but worth something watching in preseason. Wide receiver room, Cortland Sutton, 3 for 360. Saw some playing time there. No Jalen Waddle. Troy Franklin, 1 for 2 at 23. And Pat Bryant, 1 for 1 at 15. Now, a lot of people ask me about the Denver wide receiver room and what it might look like. Okay, I have Jalen Waddle at wide receiver 1. They spent a lot of money, and they spent a lot of capital to go get him. Everybody gives me hate for, well, you're just pushing Cortland Sutton to the side. No, I'm not. But they spent a lot of money and a lot of capital to go get Jalen Waddle. I'm telling you now, it wasn't for a wide receiver 2. So I have Jalen Waddle at wide receiver 1. Cortland Sutton at wide receiver 2. I do have Troy Franklin at number 3, mixed in kind of with it really could be a mixture of 3. Could be Troy Franklin. It could be Pat Bryant. And I think it could be Marvin Mims. In my opinion, I think with the connection of Bo Nix, Troy Franklin, right, they should have it figured out by now. If they can't, I think Marvin Mims is a very suitable gadget player that can get the job done. Last year didn't have a great year statistically, right? Had a couple decent games in the playoffs, right? So what does that mean, right? Late in the season, in the playoffs, how does he now translate that to this year? I think it could be something to pay attention to. All right, now on the tight end room for Denver, Ingram saw a little time, nothing promising there. Will Lutz, 2 for 3 on the field goals and 3 extra points at 10 points. Broncos, 2 picks, 1 sack, got you 15. Broncos obviously should be a top tier pick when it comes to the defenses this year. They're just one of the better ones. All right, on to Atlanta. Quarterback room was Jack Strand, the rookie, and Tua saw some time there. Tua, 3 for 5, 22 yards, and then Strand came in 6 for 12, 50, and he ran for a touchdown. Nothing really in the running back department. Brian Robinson, not Bijan, Brian. His backup saw a little time there, 2 for 6, but nothing past that. Wide receiver department, the Zachariah Branch, the rookie out of Georgia, did see some snaps there. Kind of is working out of the backfield in those jet sweeps. He did have a 1 carry for 3 yards, 2 catches on 4 targets for 6 yards. So potentially a lot of screenplay there. PPR league owners should pay attention to that. Now, tight end room, Kyle Pitts did see some time, 3 for 4, 22 yards. I'll take that. I'll take that in PPR leagues. You know, it's preseason. We're just getting cooked up. Atlanta Falcons only had 1 sack, so they only got 4 points. All right. Next game we can talk about. We're trying to shoot through these here real quick because we still got to do the preview. However, Jaden Daniels saw some time there, 10 for 15 at a 111, and he ran for a touchdown. On the nothing really in the running back room, we had Josh Williams, sophomore year, ran for a touchdown. Newly acquired Sean Tucker was in there for a little bit even. Really nothing in the wide receiver department. I mean, Ted Hurst kind of seen some there for a minute. Not Jaden Daniel. I'm Jalen. I think I did say Jaden, but Jalen Daniels. He is the rookie out of, I believe, Kansas. Yeah, Kansas. Nothing really promising here, guys. I mean, they scored 24 points, but it was 2 interceptions, 4 sacks. It was defensive led. Really, the kicker only had one kick. 2 rushing touchdowns, and then the rest, yeah. They must have had a pick 6 or something of that matter. Let's see here. Yeah, pick 6 for 47 yards. So, yeah, defense showed out. As for the Jets, Brady Cook, second-year guy out of Mizzou here, went 9 for 15, 108 with a carry. Clay Kubniak, the rookie from this year from Clemson, went 5 for 7, 56. And then the story about it this week that we posted, Braylon Allen, right? Braylon Allen could, not Braylon Allen, I'm sorry, Breece Hall could miss some time, you know, with his injury. He broke off a 31-yard touchdown run in the preseason loss, but looked good, right? He looks faster. He looks more explosive. 4 carries for 44 yards and a touchdown. Real good outing there. In the wide receiver department, again, nothing promising. Garrett Wilson saw some time. Rookie Omar Cooper, 2 for 3, 31 yards, is one of my draftable rookies for sure. I think the wide receiver room for the Jets definitely could use some firepower. You know, 2 field goals from York for the Jets, and the Jets defense I would definitely avoid. Commanders over the Dolphins 20-7. Achan came in, ran for a touchdown, and left the game. Malik Willis went 4 for 5, 43 yards, and Ewers came in and stunk it up. You know, wide receiver department, Douglas had a really good catch. You know, I've looked that up if you need to. It was a one-handed catch. I can't remember the DB, but it was a solid catch. Interception from the Dolphins and 3 sacks, which is pretty promising for their defense, to be honest. To the Commanders, Sam Hartman and I'm going to butcher this, Athan Kalamanyas. Yeah, I'm going to butcher that. I told you. He is the rookie out of the Rutgers, playing the last 2 years at Rutgers after transferring there from Minnesota. We're just going to call him AK. That's what we're going to call him. There's your nickname, buddy. Sam Hartman went 8 for 15, 80 yards, an interception. AK went 6 for 10, 87, and lost a couple yards on some carries. Now, one of my favorite rookies of this draft that we've talked about is Kaytron Allen. I think he has a real solid choice to be one of those underrated rookies. You know, getting drafted later, but being fantasy relevant. You know, he was a 6th round pick, right? Going 23 carries, heavy workload there. 85 yards and a touchdown, and then he caught one for 1 yard. Now, the other guy there, Robert Henry, who is a rookie, 12 carries, 75 yards and a touchdown. So realistically, it was just a good overall run day for the Commanders. Again, with that said, nothing really promising in the wide receiver department. Antonio Williams did get 3 targets, caught 1 pass for 16 yards. Commanders, 3 picks and a sack. Good job on that defense. It was against the Dolphins, but that's okay. Buffalo Bills 29, Carolina Panthers 14. Kenny Pickett and Kyle Trask were the quarterbacks for the Carolina Panthers. Pickett had a decent day at 16 for 19, 92 yards and a touchdown. Trask went 6 for 9, 53 and a touchdown and a pick. Rushing department, Jonathan Brooks 3 for 5 and a catch for 9 yards. Nothing real promising from anybody. Tyus did look good. Anthony Tyus, he's a sophomore. He's on a future deal, fighting for a roster spot, right? Jasim Reed, sophomore, target and 3 targets and a touchdown. He's making his case for a couple more targets here in the game in their lineup, but I think, for me, not draftable there. Tet, Jalen Coker, Leggett, Jimmy Horn. I even think John Mechie will see more targets than Jasim Reed. Franks had a good catch over the top there. Carolina's defense had 3 sacks, but they allowed 29 points. So now, part of the reason they allowed 29 points is because, you've seen James Cook and Josh Allen and a couple starters out there. DJ Moore was out there, right? Josh Allen went 6 for 8, 111 and a touchdown. Then they got this Kyle Allen, not Josh Allen, Kyle Allen. Don't get that mixed up. 14 for 16, 108. Frank Gore Jr. saw a little preseason action for the Buffalo Bills. 7 carries for 38 yards and a tutty. Also, Ian Wheeler. Looks like he was with the Bears there for a little bit. He was cut from the practice squad, but came in, got 7 carries for 41 yards and a touchdown. Ray Davis was out there. James Cook was out there. Keon Coleman caught a touchdown. DJ Moore went 61 yards. Shakir was out there. McCole Hardman was out. I mean, the Buffalo Bills actually surprised me this week. I had to make sure I wasn't watching a rerun. Tyler Bass, 3 for 4 in field goals. All short, but promising accurate. Bills, interception and 4 sacks. Browns and Bears. Bears demolished them 34-10. Now, for the Bears, we had Case Keenum and Tyson Bagent. Case Keenum, 9 for 10, 151, 2 touchdowns. Real promising at it. Tyler Bagent, 13 for 22, 169 and a touchdown. Also threw a pick, though. In that running back department, Salvin Ahmed. Okay. Salvin Ahmed. 2 really is the receiving department for me that got kind of caught my eye, but 2 carries, 17 yards, 3 catches for 55 yards and a touchdown. Running backs were very busy in this game. 2 running backs caught 1 and 1 ran for 1, which was Coleman Bennett, the rookie. Wide receiver, you had Maurice Alexander catch 1. And Caden Davis had a 4 for 6, 88-yard day, promising there. Tight end room, nobody really played. Sam Roush, the rookie, saw some action, 2 for 3 for 15. And then Santos went 2 for 3. Bears defense, obviously, I think is going to be a good one this year. 2 picks, 3 sacks. Again, against the Browns, but it is what it is. Browns quarterbacks, again, nothing promising. Watson and Sanders both played. Watson threw for 126. Sanders threw for 79 and a pick. Running backs, Sampson looked good in the receiving department, but still struggles in the run game. Casey Concepcion ran for a touchdown, so he could be used in various packages. Excited for that. And then realistically, yeah, Browns defense also could be decent and underrated, but a pick and 2 sacks. Vikings, Giants, Vikings 13-10. Wentz, McCarthy, nothing promising there. Wentz did throw for a touchdown. Realistically, take that backup spot from McCarthy if McCarthy doesn't change his ways. That was versus Dart and Winston. Winston came in through 90 yards, and Jackson Dart only threw 4 passes, but did throw a touchdown. Okay, running back room, nothing really exciting. I don't even think there was any touchdowns at all. Wide receiver Malachi Fields in his first preseason game scored a touchdown, promising there. Odell saw a little bit. Miles Price, 4 for 4, 51 and a touchdown. He could be a sneaky pick outside of Addison and Jawan Jennings for sure. Isaiah Likely, 2 for 11. I like him this year. Giants had a sack, and the Vikings had 4 sacks and 2 picks. Rams 20, Chiefs 12. We had Ty Simpson, 25 attempts at 190 and 2 touchdowns. I think, honestly, he looked good, guys. I really do. I think he looked good. Better than Stenson Bennett and anybody else they have in that room. So maybe they knew something we didn't. For Kansas City, it was a Ludicon and Garrett Nussmeier, who they just drafted this year from LSU. Oludokun went 5 for 11. He's more of a runner, 3 carries for 27 yards. Nussmeier hung in the pocket for 13 of 19 for 98. Running back room for the Rams, promise right here is Dean Connors. 6 carries, 22 yards, but in the wide receiver department, or receiving department, 4 for 4, 29 yards and 2 touchdowns. 21 points. Was a good outing. Now, with the Rams depth chart, right, we have Kyron, Blake Corum. But after that, guys, I mean, has Yaquez Hunter really worked out? Has Ronnie Rivers really worked out? I mean, Dean Connors could kind of sneak in there if there was an injury to happen or anything of that matter. Wide receiver room, nothing really there. No touchdowns were thrown to them. It was just to the running back. Max Clare. Let's talk about him for a second because we talked about him briefly about how it was a crowded tight end room. I think he has the most promise I've seen so far. 7 for 8, 37 yards. Now, he's not a vertical threat. He is a third down tight end possession type of guy, but this is a PPR guy. This is a guy that's going to get you 7 points plus his 3.7 for his yardage. I mean, he got 10.7 off of just having 7 catches. I mean, that's okay with me. Buckert did score all the points, 4 for 4 for Kansas City, and then Mevis went 2 for 2. Rams defense, I think, is a must-have this year. 2 sacks, and then the Chiefs had nothing. Goose-egged. Next game here is Jags and Saints, 24-20 Jags. For the Jags, we saw Carter Bradley, year 2, and Joey Aguilar, rookie year. 105 and a touchdown and a pick for Bradley. Aguilar came in 1 completion for 43 yards. Zach Wilson, not sure what that means, but, just maybe something to maybe pay attention to him next week. Maybe he came in for a trick play or a secret play, and, maybe they know something we don't again. Zach Wilson for the Saints and Hunter Dekers. Zach Wilson, 145 and a touchdown. Dekers, 69 yards. Okay. Running back room for Jacksonville, Jamari Taylor. Rookie, 22 carries, hefty workload, 78 yards and a touchdown, and also a 2-point conversion. Solid day. For these Saints, we had Audric Estime come over from the Broncos. 5 carries, 28 yards, and a touchdown. Wide receiver department, nothing but Bub Memes. Love that name.
4 for 5, 77 yards for Bub. Realistically, he could see, that wide. He has that wide receiver 3 spot well open to him. All they have is Chris Olave. Jordan Tyson is going to be out 2 months. Other than that, man, they have Devon Vale, Bub Memes, Ronnie Bell, Bryce Land. I mean, they don't really have a lot. So Bub Memes, I think, is going to be a name to pay attention to, especially in that Jordan Tyson news that we've learned recently. Oscar Delp, rookie, caught his first touchdown in preseason. Little kicked 3 for 3, 1 at 50+, and the Saints kicker Tanner Brown went 2 for 2. Jags defense 4 sacks. I think they could be underrated this year. And the New Orleans Saints 2 picks and 4 sacks. Ravens over Philly 24-7. For Philly, we saw Cole Payton and Tanner McKee, and honestly, this was not great quarterback play. Cole Payton did throw for a touchdown, and he also ran for 3 times for 45 yards. It was exciting to see him use his legs. But overall, just quarterback play was not good. Running back room, also not good. Tank Bigsby is about the biggest name you've seen there. Wide receiver room, Eric Uskanma. Uskanma. Caught a touchdown. He is just on a futures contract. Literally was cut by Jacksonville last month, was on the practice squad. Darius Cooper saw some time there. Tight end room, Eli Stowers, 3 for 3 for 12. He was, again, needs blocking refinement, but promised pass catcher there. Eagles defense, a pick and 3 sacks, obviously is a must-have this year, along with the Broncos and the Rams and the Texans. Baltimore had Joe Fagno, 22 for 28, 224 and a touchdown. He was throwing all over our beat-up secondary. We don't have a lot of depth in the secondary, we came to find out. So then they had Austin Reed come in, ran for a touchdown. We had a running back, Adam Randall, rookie, ran for 12 carries, 46 yards, and a touchdown. Wide receiver room, Jacoby Lane looked good, 3 for 3, 38, and a touchdown. And then Eli Surratt, who I drafted in 2 leagues, 6 for 7 and 66 yards. Could be a decent way into this lineup. Zay Flowers at the 1, Rashad Bateman at the 2. And then really it's Jacoby Lane and Elijah Surratt fighting each other out. I mean, you do have the Walker kid from UNC last year. But other than that, man, I mean, really don't have a lot of competition in the Ravens wide receiver room. What's his name? Matt Hibner looked good for Baltimore, 5 for 5, 61. Now, again, with Isaiah likely gone, they're going to need somebody to step up. Very well could be this Hibner guy. Ravens, 1 sack. Eagles, 3 sacks and a pick. Last game we're gonna recap here. Cowboys and Seahawks. 17-7 Cowboys. We saw Joe Milton, Sam Howell. 107 and a touchdown for Milton and 94 and a touchdown for Howell. Running back room wise, nothing real promising. Jadon Blue saw some time. Needs to stay healthy. Wide receiver room, though. Camden Brown, rookie. 3 for 3, 62 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, let's just go into that. Wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Ryan Flournoy. That's the lock, right? Otherwise than that, I mean, you do have Turpin, who is, in my opinion, just a return guy. I mean, he is an occasional nice, drag route or a deep threat. I get that. They do have MVS and Jonathan Mingo. Realistically, if this guy keeps playing like this throughout preseason, he could kind of sneak in there. The Michael Trigg, the rookie tight end, looked good. 4 for 5, 30 yards. Aubrey, typical. Must-have kicker there. Cowboys, 7 points allowed, 3 sacks. Good defensive day. Quarterbacks for Seattle: Drew Lock and Jalen Milroe. Lock threw for 40 yards and a touchdown, and Jalen Milroe threw for 36. Not a big day for these quarterbacks. Running back room, again, nothing to come by. Let's see who caught the one touchdown here. Montori Foster, second-year guy, went 5 for 7, 36 and a touchdown. Caught it from Drew Lock. Tight end department, Elijah Arroyo. A lot of people are saying that he is looking good in camp. Could be something to pay attention to. All right, we are going to take a quick break with a message from our partners over at Sports Lounge Media. And then we are going to get right back into predictions for preseason week 2. Enjoy.
Yeah, it's that heat, no chill, all flame. Sports Lounge Live, we never play no games. Talking stats, trash, take static night. Step in the ring, bring facts to take flight. Sounds up, lights flash, it's about to explode. Every mic drop, heavy, every angle we load. From the court to the field, we call it how it feel. No script, just skill, this debate getting real. Sports Lounge Media. Where fire meets the mic. Yeah, it's that heat, no chill, all flame. Sports Lounge Live, we never play no games. Talking stats, trash, take static night. Step in the ring, bring facts to take flight. Sounds up, lights flash, it's about to explode. Every mic drop, heavy, every angle we load. From the court to the field, we call it how it feel. No script, just skill, this debate getting real. Sports Lounge Media. Where fire meets the mic. Say what you mean, cause we don't do polite. Welcome to the lounge.
All right, guys, welcome back. And again, we're just a quick reminder, go give Sports Lounge Media and us the new SLM Fantasy. We are going to be, again, doing a new rebrand. Excited about that. So be paying attention for that. All right, so the way we're going to do these future games is we're going to cover a few players to pay attention to, right, how they're going to do. The first game is going to be the Raiders and Texans, right? Obviously, Mendoza, right? First overall pick. We want to see how successful he's going to be. Maybe Genti gets a couple more snaps there, but Mike Washington for me needs to solidify that running back 2, and really could be a good chase of pace back for the Raiders. I think Jalen Naylor, maybe some of these guys start getting in there. To get some reps, be excited to see the work with the quarterbacks. Again, this is preseason. So again, we'll be talking about bigger players as we get into the regular season, but this is nice because we can start highlighting players instead of just, necessarily matchups. For the Texans, I'm not sure how much of CJ Stroud we'll see, if any, but, Woody Marsh, Jawar Jordan. Let's pay attention to that running back room, the wide receiver room. So after Jaden Higgins, right, somebody's got to step up. So that wide receiver room for the Texans might be a key to watch over the next couple weeks. Next game is going to be 49ers and Chargers. These are both Thursday night games. Quarterbacks, again, not sure how much we're going to see of Purdy or Herbert, but, probably Mac Jones, Trey Lance. Running back rooms, again, outside of CMC, what does this backup look like? Is it going to be Jordan James? Is it going to be the new rookie Kalam Black? I really got to see what this room is outside of CMC. Now, in the Chargers department, again, same thing. I need to see what is outside of Omarion Hampton. Very excited for him this year. Can Keaton Mitchell stay healthy? Can Vidal finally answer the call and be that third down back with the speed that he demonstrated? Wide receiver wise, it's a lot of health concern, man, for 49ers. Mike Evans. You got Persall out for the year. Ayuk is probably not going to play this year. So now you got Stribling, Samuel, Demarcus Robinson.
Christian Kirk, and Jacob Cowing. If you were to take your pick about one of those players, I could probably go on a 10-minute rant about how not to trust that player. I mean, I'm not excited about this wide receiver room for San Francisco. I feel like if they step on a branch wrong, everything's going to fall apart. But again, a lot of opportunity for these young guys. I mean, Stribling just walking into this room is a huge opportunity. Deebo Samuel has a huge opportunity at revitalization of his career. Demarcus Robinson has always been a role player, right? So can he take over an offense? Christian Kirk, is he too old? Jacob Cowing, what does he do year 2? You know what I mean? Like there are year 3. There's a lot going on there, but it needs to stay healthy for it to be successful. Tight end room, Tunges and Farrell until Kittle gets back, but I doubt you see much of Tunges. Wide receivers for the Chargers, again, McConkey, Johnson, right? Trey Harris, Brandon Thompson, the rookie. I don't think there's much talent. Now, I could be proven wrong, but not impressed with outside the trio there. And not impressed with that either. But tight ends, I'd like to see Njoku getting out there and catching a couple there, but both of those tight ends are hard to trust in the crowded room. So, it's tough. It's tough to even out when you got better options. Let's see. It's going to be Friday at 6. It's going to be Jets and Steelers. Jets. I imagine, quarterback, you'll see Klubniak. And Steelers, I'm sure you'll see more of Drew Allar and Mason Rudolph. So excited to see how Drew Allar plays this week versus last. See if he can repeat that. For the Jets, I'm curious about Braylon Allen. Do they give him the rock? Do they kind of pull him back to make sure that he stays healthy as well? And I think that they do. I think Isaiah Davis is a name to watch there. Running back room for Pittsburgh. I'm a big Eli Hendrick fan out of the Navy, but I don't think he had a great week last week. I think he needs a bounce back week, and I think he very well could do that against the Jets. Bernard, and then I'm looking forward to that Kendon Wetjen again. To see if they can repeat these performances or if it's just a stud or a dud, right? Garrett Wilson. We saw some time last year, or last week. Maybe we see an uptick in that. But I'm more interested in really just the Omar Cooper, how well he's gelling with Geno Smith and the Kubniak system, just in the playbook in general. Tight ends, obviously Sadiq. He's not playing in preseason, so expected to be ready by week 1. So that's exciting. So in his absence, Mason Taylor knows this offense, right? Jeremy Ruckert should as well. They got to step up. But Sadiq was drafted at his position for a reason, and we'll see how that goes. Tight ends for Pittsburgh, Darnell Washington. It's a big body, man. I'd be curious to see if they could finally utilize him correctly. Two more games on Friday. Panthers and Jags. Nothing exciting. We're not going to see a lot of starters here, so. For me, I'd like to see that Carolina wide receiver room really step it up, right? Again, we said Tet, Coker, Leggett, Jimmy Horn, but again, with that wide receiver 3 spot, it is very shaky and it can be jumbled up and mixed up quite a bit. New addition, Darren Waller. I picked him up in one of my fantasy leagues. Excited to see where that goes and on the field. Last game on Friday is going to be the Packers and Denver. Again, probably no starters yet until probably like week 3. Troy Franklin, I need to see more. And then Savion Williams for the Packers as well. Next game on Saturday, got a couple here on Saturday. or I guess I should say a few. Again, no starters, so I'm gonna just go after the camp names, I guess I should say. Katron Allen for me for sure. Maybe we start seeing some Pachenko. Antonio Williams, we're big on him, right? Let's see here. Buffalo and Cleveland. I mean, obviously, if I'd have told you that the starters wouldn't start week 1 for Allen, or for Buffalo, I'd be wrong. So I can't say that now. But I think for the Browns, it's just they got to figure out this quarterback battle. Is it going to be Watson? Is it going to be Sanders? And then the wide receiver room. I mean, outside of Casey Conception in Boston, is Judy going to play? Is Isaiah Bond going to play? Curious in that wide receiver room. And then let's see, Atlanta and the Colts. Definitely the quarterback battle there. Ready for Penix to come back. What does the wide receiver room after Drake London look like? Can Zachariah Branch and Zacchaeus really step up and take that role? Maybe not. Ravens and Minnesota. Again, not much on the starters. Let's see here. I was looking for the name. I would like to see Juwan Jennings get some snaps in here for Minnesota. The tight end department. Again, that Hibner, right? With likely being no longer on the Ravens team, somebody's got to fill that role behind Andrews. All right. You got in the camera. For the Giants and Dolphins at Saturday afternoon. Really need to see more from Quentin Ewers for me to really believe that he is, not saying they have much more option, but that he needs to be an NFL quarterback. Malik Willis, obviously, we want to see with that, if his contract was worth it. Jackson Dart and Winston, I think I'd like to see Jackson Dart on a couple more drives and just him getting comfortable in the offense. Isaiah Likely as well. That tight end room needs to get comfortable because it low-key could be one of the better tight end rooms in the NFL. Saints and Rams, again, Tyler Shuck, I'm excited for him this year, bounce back year. I'd really like to see for the Rams that Dean Connors really play some strong snaps again and kind of see if he can fit into that running back 3 role. With Kamara being out for the Saints, where does this running back room go from here outside of Travis Etienne? So can Devin Neal step up? Can Ty Chandler coming from Minnesota step up? That kind of thing. Again, for the Saints, injuries to Kamara and Tyson, so it's kind of both. Who can step up in that role? And for the Rams, outside of the running back department, I would say, can Max Clare repeat that performance from last week? Bears and Bengals, Saturday night at 6 p.m. Caleb Williams, Taylor Bagent. Probably won't see Caleb. Probably will see Bagent and Case Keenum again. For the Bengals, probably Joe Flacco and Josh Johnson again. I don't imagine we'll see Burrow in the preseason. Just for me, he played for Arizona. Never mind. Outside of Gesicki, right? Gesicki for the tight ends for the Bengals. That Jack Andres had a decent game last year. They also got Drew Sample. A couple of different crowded tight end room, but who's going to step up to be that guy next to Gesicki? I think a 2 tight end system in Cincinnati would go pretty mean. For the Eagles, Pats at 6. Again, unfortunately, I don't think you see much starters. No Jalen, maybe a little bit of Barkley. I doubt it. I doubt you see Smith or Lemon with their hamstring issues. So a lot of it is, again, Darius Cooper, Danny Gray, Mark Hollywood Brown. It's these guys. If you guys want a roster spot, now is the time to prove it. Stowers, you should see a lot of playing time. Obviously, I think we will see AJ Brown. I think you might see starters on the defense. Could see a drive or two from Jalen and company. I would hope so, but not keeping my fingers crossed, knowing my organization. So, Chiefs and Bucks. Again, I think it's going to be Justin Fields and Jake Browning, right? No Kenneth, no Bucky. I would really like to see the wide receiver room depth outside in Tampa Bay. Obviously, outside of Mbuka and Godwin, McMillan, can he stay healthy? Ted Hurst is a rookie. And then you got Cameron Johnson, a couple names that were kind of big last year. But that tight end room is horrendous. I would avoid the tight end room. Don't be falling into the Cade Otton train hole, black hole, if you will. Saturday night, we got Cowboys Cardinals. Okay, again, I think you will see some Carson Beck here. Not sure why you did this week. I think it's because the games were so close together. Jeremiah Love will not play, so it'll be a lot of Tyler Algier, James Conner, and Trey Benson. Sorry. Outside of that, again, wide receiver room for the Cowboys. Can that Camden Brown, can he repeat his performance and kind of put his name in that wide receiver 4 position? Michael Trigg, again, can he make it past Schoonmaker on the depth chart? And then further Arizona, it's really just revolves around the whole wide receiver room. If God forbid somebody goes down, who can we even possibly throw the ball to? Last game, Sunday night, we got Seahawks, Titans. I think you will see Cam Ward and Will Levis. I doubt you see Sam Darnold. I would imagine it's more so on the Drew Lock, Jalen Milroe train there. As far as Jadarian Plyce, he did do a full practice Monday. Not sure what's going to be. Charbonnet's not going to play. So a lot to pay attention to there, especially in the Tennessee running back room. Pollard, Spears, Nick Singleton. Wide receivers, Carnell Tate might get some action there. JSN, I doubt it. AJ Barner and Arroyo might be a good two-headed monster this year. So Sunday night might be a good game to catch. I'm just glad that football's back. I'm glad that we're able to do this on a weekly basis. Again, this is going to be the new weekly norm, guys. This is going to be where it's going to be a healthy amount of time. These episodes are going to be a little longer, but that's because we go into depth and we want to make sure that you guys get the best information. We go over previous games. We go over the stats, what's promising, what's probably flukish. And then we go into next week's game and we're kind of, pointing out things to watch out for. Again, as we get into the start of the season, it'll become more of, I would start this player. I would not start this player instead of, let's watch this battle, right? But I think that's pretty common sense. So again, guys, I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight and sharing and liking the video. If you guys would like more, join us on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, any platform you can think of. We're probably on it, and you can go ahead and give us a subscribe and a follow, and I would deeply appreciate that. As well as our partners over at Sports Lounge Media. Again, any platform, X, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, anything you can think of. Go give them a subscribe and a follow and join the journey, guys. We appreciate everything you guys do, and we will see you next Wednesday to cover week 2 and look into week 3. Appreciate it and have a good night. Thank you.